Winter has always been a time for gathering in the longhouse and sharing information around the fire. This is our contribution to that tradition. Hello, I'm Evan from Hill People Gear, and I'm going to talk to you today about a kit that I put together that some of you might find interesting. A preparedness kit, a survival kit. So the first thing that you got to decide when you're putting a kit together, and this is a really good axiom that we learned from our friends over at Sokoa Survival Systems. You decide what container it is that you have to work with first, and then build your kit after the fact. Realistically, if I'm concerned about survival, what do I want? I want my little RV trailer that has, lots of 12-volt storage and the solar panel and the composting toilet and all the water on board and 2 things of propane. That's a nice size that's not just survivable but livable. The problem with that is that as many places I can take it, I can't take it everywhere. So just stepping down from there, you kind of have to decide what container you're working with. So my requirements for this size of container, so first of all, I carry a big kit bag that's all about supporting a pretty good sized camera. In fact, the kit bag I'm using right now is a prototype that's even bigger than any of the kit bags in our lineup. So yes, it has survival stuff in it for me, but the thing about that is that if I grab it, it's also a commitment to carrying all the camera gear. This kit was about just survival stuff. And this is built off of our Hill People Gear snubby size belt pack. And I chose this size because I can easily drop it into a pack. Really, that was the fundamental requirement. Whether I'm carrying a junction pack or a Connor pack, it'll go inside easily. It's something that I can drop inside of a motorcycle panniers if I'm out on a motorcycle, essentially road riding trip, but I want my preparedness stuff. Even if I was moto riding, something like that, it's just a good size that I can fit a lot of places. If I didn't have a kit bag that was built out for basically camera support, then I might choose to put this same kit in, if I went with a medium footprint kit bag or an original footprint kit bag, I could easily carry all of this stuff plus a pistol. But again, I have kind of a different application, but a lot of you folks might choose to put this in a kit bag instead. For me, the belt pack that I can carry crossbody, it has less rigging than a kit bag does. I can throw it on my waist, I can throw it in places easily. That's why I made that choice, and again, the snubby was just so I could fit it into other packs and places like that pretty easily. So the other requirement that I have for this that's kind of interesting is that it be TSA friendly, I guess I should say. When it comes to the individual discretion of individual agents, there is no such thing as safe, but at least this complies with all the requirements. So now to the contents of the kit. So the first thing is, if we think about the rules of 3, airway, what's going to kill you quickly, we think about trauma. And if this is the only kit I have, I want not just trauma, but first aid. So the first thing I have is a Cat T tourniquet in here, and that's in a pouch underneath, readily accessible. From there, I've changed the draw cord to be red on the front, indicating that that's where all my medical supplies are. So I have a couple things in here. One is the hyphen chest seal for penetrating trauma. I have the quick clot packing gauze. I have rubber gloves, the Sharpie for that. This is actually a plastic wrap dressing. And then as far as the rest of it's concerned, I basically took one of the Adventure Medical kits, UL 0.7 I believe it is, and just stripped out all of the medications and stuff from that and shoved it in here. It comes in a nice bag, but for my purposes, in order to fit it all in, that was the easiest thing, was not to use the bag. So again, this is some trauma stuff. And then a high-graded Adventure Medical Kit 0.7 UL, which, it's not like a comprehensive rescue first aid kit, but it's really not bad for what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So actually I'll just leave that stuff sitting there, build a little pile as I go. All right, now on to sort of the survival stuff. So water is extremely important. I'm carrying the Hydra Pack. I think it's called a Seeker. This is the 2-liter. It's empty. I don't have water with me. Ideally, you would carry water with you. But this allows me to, if I get into that survival situation, this allows me to fill this with water and have a way to carry it. I can hang this off of the belt a couple of different ways, and 2 liters is not a bad quantity of water to have. Fire starting kit. So I've got some little squares of inner tube, which are really the best fire starter I've found. A Bic brand lighter. I have some other, in this case, Sulcoa Fast Fire, but you're going to want some kind of accelerant sort of thing, just in case. I have a flint and steel. Well, it's not a flint, but I have a striker and a ferro rod that allows me to start a fire if the Bic goes down for whatever reason. I've not ever in my life had that happen, but it's not a bad backup. I have some electrolyte replacement mix, which I've found that you know, you can go a long time without food, but having the electrolyte replacement really can help stabilize your body through a lot of medical situations, and also just as far as being able to move, which sometimes movement is survival. So this, I have, this is the Garmin InReach Mini. So the thing about this is a 2-way satellite communicator. There's a lot of value to it. I've talked at length about it being a double-edged sword. I think it people, when they get this, maybe develop a false sense of confidence. What it does do is allow a rescue to get started if you get into dire circumstances. You just need to be aware that depending upon where you are and what the weather conditions are, you might get out to you know, a local SAR team. This all goes through a coordination center, but at any rate, resources might be deployed and you're still 24, 48 hours away from getting out of the situation, and you can easily die in 24 hours. No difficulties there. So good to have. It's one of those modern things that I really believe in, but at the same time, you don't bet your life on it. You bet your life on your knowledge, your skills, and the things you're carrying with you. This is hopefully to get you out a little bit further down the road. So I've got a bunch of the Kataydin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, micropure tablets for purifying the water that you find. I have a little tube for stoking a fire. This is a handy little thing. It really allows you to maybe nurse a fire to health in ways that it's harder to do without. This one happens to be made by Ola Camp. It's not necessary, but it's nice to have that is small and light enough. And if you start thinking about, creatively, what else is the survival value of a tube like this? It might be more than you think when you get into a situation that you need to start solving problems. I do carry a battery bank, both for the InReach Mini and also for, this is a USB rechargeable flashlight, which by itself will last a long time, but this is the Streamlight MicroStream USB, which I'm fond of. Rechargeables are a double-edged sword. You can charge them up to make sure they're charged, but you don't have that quick battery replacement if you need it, so having the charging bank has some value to it. Alrighty, so this is a Swiss Tech TSA safe tool. There's a couple different models of these. I like them. They're small, they're light, they're compact. There's a lot you can get done with kind of this little multi-tool, and it is, again, TSA friendly. Little mini charging cable to get both of those devices charged back up off of the battery bank. Now this is the Silva Mini compass. Now most of where I travel, I don't use a compass. I don't need a compass. I'm a train association guy, but this is the compass that I used back when I was teaching orienteering merit badge in the 80s. And what's unique about it is that for the size and weight, it is a lensatic sighting compass, which allows you to get surprisingly precise bearings if you end up needing to do map and compass navigation. And so this is something that, for a guy who doesn't use a compass very often, is really nice to have. It'll get a lot done, but it doesn't take up a whole lot of space when you're not using it, not needing it. All right, this is the Fox Micro rescue whistle. Again, signaling, there's some value. I like the very brightest color possible, so it's easy to remember on a lanyard, so you can have it around your neck. You can signal a lot better with this than with yelling, and again, for the size and weight, it's nice to have. Also, the Star Flash, the UST Star Flash signal mirror, which is signaling for that rescue, letting folks know where you are. As you can see, it works very well. And it's pretty small and light. You know, the bigger the better on signal mirrors. This one is not the smallest one made, nor is it the largest one made, but it works pretty well. All right, that's the main compartment. Now, in the rear compartment, I have some shelter items. And what I have here is 2 contractor garbage bags in an orangish color. This is something that's made in the USA that we carry at Hill People Gear. You know, we're working on getting them oranger, but the idea behind the orange is that in addition to creating shelter and transpiration bags and you know, litter bags filling with leaf, you know, there's just so many different uses for contractor garbage bags, but the fact that this is orange makes it a pretty decent signaling option as well. Now we carry kind of a lighter weight one. I tested it. It actually is very robust for all of the uses that I tried it on. Not as robust as the heavier ones, but the value of this is that for the same weight, I can carry 2 of them. Is that worthwhile? Only a survival situation will tell, but I went with 2 lighter weight ones versus 1 heavier weight one, and that's a trade-off that I'm happy to make. So that's the contents of the bag. So what is it that if I can plus up this bag? Well, the first obvious thing is a knife of some kind. If it didn't need to be TSA safe, it would have a knife. The reality is, whenever I'm not behind a secure checkpoint, I have a very robust, well, actually right now I'm carrying a Hill People Gear Coyote knife in a pocket holster or pocket sheath, which you can get a whole lot done with. But you know, whatever kind of knife it is that you choose to carry, robust for backwoods use, that's part of my regular pocket stuff, so it doesn't need to be here. And if I'm not in a checkpoint, I've always got it. Also I carry another flashlight in my pockets and a multi-tool, a bigger, more robust multi-tool that has a saw on it. So those are some easy things to add. An actual bottle of water, that's a great thing to add, and a coat. If you add a bottle of water, which you can do on any one of our bottle holsters, you can just thread right on here if you want to use this just as a fanny pack. If you add a bottle of water and tie a jacket around your waist, this kit is actually something that'll get you a long ways down the trail and through a whole lot of inclement weather with reasonable safety, depending upon your knowledge and skill level. But at any rate, I explained why this is what it is, the things that it doesn't have. And for those of you who are interested in some of these contents, you'll be able to follow a link that's associated with this video to an online description of all the contents and links to where you can buy them. So that kind of wraps that up for you. So at any rate, again, I'm Evan of Hill People Gear. This is the kind of portable survival, compact survival kit I put together and carry in a variety of uses myself. Appreciate you tuning in, and stay safe out there and enjoy.